Hello, Real Legit Customs here with you, and this is another episode of Let's Talk Fishing. Now today I'm doing it a little different. I'm actually outside, so you're going to probably hear some other noises, birds. Maybe my dogs will come and talk to us while we're doing this. Hopefully not. But the reason I'm outside is because it's a beautiful, sunshiny day. We do have a little bit of wind, so there may be some wind sounds. But I really wanted to give you guys a chance to look at some of these lures and what the sunshine, natural sunlight does with these colors, with the foil that we've got on some of these baits, and just give you guys a chance to see what under natural conditions outside these lures are looking like. Now these two here are the walleye minnows, okay? This is a deep diver, and this is a shallow diver. And you'll notice that the bills are very much different. The deep diver has a much longer, wider bill than the shallow, which has a shorter, skinnier bill. Now the angle that these are at are very similar. So not much difference in reference to angle. Now angle does play a factor in diving depth. A more steep angle helps dive faster and quicker to a point. You get some that have a very pronounced, almost straight up and down type angle to them. And those are more like a wake bait. They're not going to dive very deep. They're just going to give you a lot of action, and they're going to stay closer to the surface. But this lure, you're going to get about 27 feet deep, trolling, unassisted. This lure, you're going to get about 12, maybe 15 at the most, unassisted. But let's look at this deep diver, and let's kind of roll this in the sunlight and give you a chance to see all of the colors that are playing off of this bait, especially with that foil, which we will give you some different angles to look at for that foil. I just love all of the colors that you can get off of a foil bait. Very rainbow prismatic look. And then with this particular bait, the top of this is a pearlized color, so it has its own metallic flake in there that helps give more color, more sparkle. All of that helps attract fish, catches their eye, give them something to look at. And then of course we've got that flip-flop eye that I love using. This one is a primarily blue, purple, pink, but you will get some other colors in there, some green at certain angles. But overall, I love the way that this bait turned out. I love this pattern. This is my wildcat pattern. On Facebook, we had a customer slash follower who said this reminded him of the Northern Lights or the Aurora Borealis. So I actually named this one after his good suggestion as the Aurora Wildcat. Now we move on to this shallow bandit, and it is also the Wildcat pattern. But I named this one the Poison Wildcat. And the reason for that is part of the color at play in this bait is what's called poison green. It's a candy color from Createx. And the back of this is a nice teal that is also pearlized, so it's got that nice metallic flake. Sorry for the flies that are buzzing me, but it's early spring here and the bugs are starting to come out pretty thick. This has a nice pink eye that I thought added a lot of nice contrast to this bait. But look at the rainbow colors going on in that foil strip. And using a candy color gives you a different shade to those foil prismatic colors, kind of adds a green hue to it. But the important thing about using candy paint is it allows that foil to still shine through. Now, if I would have used, say, this teal over the foil, it would have covered up most of that foil effect. You wouldn't get that rainbow showing through. You may slightly get it, but it would be extremely muted, if there at all. So with both these baits, I opted for a nice orange belly on them. Love the color orange. That belly has fluorescent paint in it, so it will fluoresce under these conditions. You get it in the water, it'll almost look like that orange is glowing when the sun hits that. This here is what I call a broke back minnow. Notice the bill on this is, again, long, fairly wide for the bait shape. This is a medium diver. This is going to get you about 12 foot deep, but it will dive pretty aggressively. And I'm starting to lose my sunshine a little bit with the leaves, but this bait is painted in what I call the bloody alewife. Bloody because I have red on the gill plate and on the front of the lure to represent that this lure may be bleeding. I don't know, I'm losing my sun. Okay. Now, this has no holographic or foil tape to it at all, but you can still see that the metallic glitter that we add into our clear coat is still giving this bait extra flash. And the gold green color that you get is a mixture of metallic or pearlized paints that I use, so you are getting some flash off of those colors. And even that dark scale pattern is a metallic paint with some pearlization to it, so you can see some sparkle in that as well. And of course, we've got the flip-flop eyes, primarily orange, green, and some blue in there. Really looking forward to giving this lure a chance. I think that this lure actually will work pretty well for coho on Lake Michigan. They do tend to use jointed rapalas out there, and this will actually dive a little bit deeper than them. This has a nice rattle to it. A lot of your balsa rapalas, they don't have that rattle, and that's something that is pretty big for the coho fishermen. They want something that rattles. So this is again the brokeback minnow, and it is on the bloody alewife pattern. Now this is another shad pattern that I just did on a 5-inch shallow diving minnow. I did a purple shad, and oh no, I'm losing more of my light. Sorry, now you're gonna get to see some of my yard. But anyways, the bottom of this is a nice pearlized white with a touch of silver in it. And you can kind of see that nice sparkly pearlization in that paint there. And as you move up, you get into a pearlized purple. And at the top, we have a pearlized dark colored scale pattern that I have at the top. And a shad dot. Some people call it a kill dot, a shad dot, but most shad, if you look at a picture of them, they do have a shad dot. And we went with the blue, blue, purple, pink flip-flop eye, a little bit of green in there for this. But do really well on this 5-inch minnow. It's very good on inland lakes for fishing for pike. I've had very good success fishing pike on this, especially weedy drop-offs. 5 feet isn't super deep, but it is a perfect depth when you are fishing submerged weed beds and drop-offs. So something to keep in mind. Great rattle. This actually has great action too. So just an all-around perfect inland lure choice. And last but not least, the 3-inch minnow. I'm gonna have to clean that out. You can see that as I clear coat, sometimes, especially on these smaller baits, the clear coat wants to stick to the eyelets, but I will get those cleaned out, not a problem. So if you guys notice that, that's all that is clear coat. The finishing of the lure just got in the eyelets and just needs to be cleaned out. But this is the bloody alewife pattern. This is on a 3-inch minnow. Now, a couple of weeks ago, I was fishing on the Kalamazoo River near my house. We caught 23 fish that day between bass and pike, and 17 of the 23 fish that were caught on this 3-inch minnow right here. I can't say enough good things about this bait. It is a perfect imitation of small bait fish in any body of water. You're fishing throughout the year, and as you cast, you've got something that has a nice rattle to it, and you see these fish jumping or skipping, I call them skipjacks, off the surface. They're basically just little bait fish that are spooked by what you're throwing, and they jump up out of the water, out of the way. This is a perfect representation, size-wise, action-wise, of those fish, and I can tell you that the fish also agree, especially the bass and pike, by the sheer number of them that I have caught off of this 3-inch minnow. If you do not have one, I strongly recommend, as even shore fishermen, because this thing, it is a slow sinker, but if you do a steady retrieve on it, you're not going to go any deeper than 5 feet with it. If you slow down your retrieve and allow it to sink, you can get even deeper than that. You know, if you're working deeper drop-offs where you start off at the 5 foot at the top and you're dropping down to 12 feet, you know, a good steady pace at the 5 foot, but as it starts to drop off, slow it down a little bit, allow this to sink and get deeper. It's just an impressive bait, and I will hopefully include some of the pictures of the fish that I caught the other week off of not this paint scheme, but off of the 3-inch minnow. Same bait style, just this is painted different. This, of course, is the bloody alewife. So we have a nice white silver bottom that's pearlized. We have the blood. It's that nice deep red color. As we work that gray white up the top, we go into our beautiful alewife green that is a mixture of colors that I came up with to represent the alewife. I will try to include a picture of the alewife in this. I think my last video where I did this paint scheme or talked about it, I had a picture to show you what I was trying to match. You guys tell me how I did. I've had a lot of good feedback on this particular pattern that I've painted, and I know that it catches fish. Guy bought 5 different style baits off of me to coho fish, painted in the bloody alewife, and he just killed the coho with it. So I know it works. But anyways, that's all I have for the video. I'm sorry that as the video went on we lost sunshine, but you can see how the sun does affect the colors that we use and just enhances the overall look of these baits compared to the old natural light bulb incandescents or LED bulb that I use to do my normal videos on. So okay, that's it. As always, remember, Real Legit Customs. We have our website that you can find under www.reallegitcustoms, and it's real, R-E-E-L, not R-E-A-L. And as always, legit, get her bit.